Welcome to the session. Topic of this session is types of cost and benefits in agricultural project, and this is basically part 1. This session will be covered in the 2 session. So basically the identification of cost and benefit is very important in order to have the project assessment in the form of the economic assessment, in the form of the financial assessment, and they are the basic elements or basic information or basic unit to have the assessment. And based on this identification of the cost and benefit, we can compare the different project available, and when we compare the cost and benefit and we decide we get the figure of the net incremental benefit from the different project, we get the idea which projects which we should select for the implementation. So actually cost and benefit identification is very important in order to have the assessment of the different project, and in order to select the best project for implementation which provide the maximum benefit to the society, maximum benefit to the individual farmers, or maximum benefit to the individual company or firms or society section sector. So in this session basically we are going to discuss about 3 important things. One is we will be defining the types of cost and benefits. There are different forms. Actually some of the cost and benefits which directly affect the beneficiary, direct beneficiary which are affected, and and there is some cost and benefit items are there which indirectly affects the other peoples who are not part of the project society. And there are another way of classifying the cost and benefit is the based on the easiness in the valuation or expressing in the monetary terms. So these are the 2 way through which we can define the cost and benefits. And then basically in this session we will focus in identification of tangible costs. So in this session basically we will be discussing about the tangible and intangible cost. And then we will learn the methods of accounting the tangible and intangible cost in economic and financial analysis. So there are various types of cost and benefits in the agriculture project. The project cost and benefit can be categorized in 2 categories. One is the direct and indirect cost and benefit, and actually the effect of this cost and benefit on the participants. So actually they will be directly benefiting, or they will be directly having some cost from the project. So here we can say the direct cost, like input or for a farm, or indirect if there is some unforeseen benefit or some externalities are there, they are basically we can say indirect effect of the project. And then another form is the tangible and intangible. It is basically based on the easiness of the measurement of the cost and benefit in the monetary value. So we can easily value the land, we can easily value the seed cost, so that is basically tangible cost. Or sometimes there is some effect like development of a beautiful place due to availability of water, increased availability of water due to the irrigation availability. So that will be a intangible benefit we can. So based on the easiness of the measurement of the cost and benefit, we can classify the cost and benefit into tangible and intangible cost and benefit. And we have different types of cost items, like items basically cost items basically they reduce the net income of a firm, where the objective in the finance analysis, though if in the financial analysis the cost reduced their net income, or in case of the national income where we have our objective is to have the economic analysis, the cost item basically reduce the benefit to the society. So our focus is today is on the tangible and intangible cost and benefit, and our major focus is basically on the tangible and intangible costs. So here we can define them. So tangible benefit and cost, basically those which can be valued in monetary terms. So like we have different types of tangible benefit, that is increase in the agricultural output or on the irrigated land. So we have the project or to develop the irrigated area. So there will be increase in the agriculture production. So we can easily measure that. So that is the basically tangible benefit. And in case of tangible cost like labor cost or cost of pipes in the irrigation dam project. So we can easily identify, we can easily measure that labor cost or cost of pipe. So we say that is the tangible cost. And actually this tangible cost and tangible benefits we can easily identify, we can easily value them in the monetary term. Then on the other side we have the intangible benefit and costs, so which cannot be easily measured in the monetary terms. Like example, we have the intangible benefits like beautification of an area resulting from an irrigation project. And then the intangible cost example we have is the destruction of the wildlife due to the irrigation project. So if we are developing a new irrigation project like developing a dam, so there will be some loss to the wildlife in that area. So that we can say intangible cost, because we cannot measure that loss to the wildlife in monetary value. So that is the reason, but we have to have some estimates, we have to do some estimates about the loss in order to have the correct assessment of the project cost benefit, in order to have the correct assessment of the project value. So we have different types of tangible cost of agriculture project like physical goods, labor, land, contingency allowances, taxes, debit services, and then the sunk costs. So these are the items we can say we can easily measure them as a cost items. So we can say they are the tangible cost. So we will learn about each cost item in detail. So first cost tangible cost item is the physical goods. So the physical goods used in agriculture projects are easier to identify. We can easily identify the physical goods which we are using in a project, like concrete for the canal irrigation project. So we can easily measure how much concrete we are using in the canal project. So we can easily value them. We can easily explain in the monetary value. Or fertilizer and pesticides for crop protection project. So we can easily value them in the monetary value. So we that is basically the physical goods or tangible goods, or material for the construction of home in land settlement project. They are the basically tangible cost in a project. But here there is one technical problem, that the technical problem is in the planning and designing associated with the finding out how much will be needed and when. So sometimes we cannot easily estimate about the how much amount will be required of physical goods while implementing the project. So this is the one technical problem when we value the when we value the physical goods as a tangible cost in the project. Another example of tangible cost is the labor, and here again we can easily identify the labor cost which are employed in a project. And we have different types of labor generally we use in a project. We have a highly skilled project manager to the farmers maintaining their farm. So we have different types of peoples, and a labor may raise special valuation problem that call for the use of shadow prices. Some of the times we cannot determine their wages or salary easily, like family laborers. So how to value them, and in that condition there is a problem. So for like family laborers, if we are using in the farm, we provide some shadow prices. So in that condition there is a problem, what type of shadow prices we should use as a cost of the family labor. So actually problems also come on the occasion of valuing this family labor, and generally what we do, the family labor is valued at the opportunity cost, that is the benefit the family must forego to participate in the project. So if you have a family members who are taking the farm activities, if he is not involved in the farm activities, or he is going to outside as a labor, so he will earn some money So that money is generally treated as a cost for his involvement in the farm. So that is basically opportunity costs which he is for going for doing the activity at his farm. So that is the way generally we use to value the family labor in the farm activity. And then another example of tangible cost is the land, and identification of land component of agriculture project is also easy. We can also easily identify how much cost would be there, but how much land would be needed and where it is located is easier to determine. So how much land will be required, the location of the land we can easily determine, but there is some actual problems comes in the valuing land because of special kind of market conditions that exist when the land is transferred from one owner to another. Suppose there is a land acquisition for the development of irrigation project. So what type of payment should be made, how much payment should be made to the farmers of that locality. So there may be different way is there. We can treat the market price of the land, or sometimes government fixed prices is there. Sometimes we can consider the opportunity cost of the land. So there are maybe different way to value the land. So that is sometimes problem in valuing the land, but we can easily measure the cost of the land in a agriculture project. That's why we call land as a tangible cost. Then contingency allowance is another tangible cost, and it is a special kind of allowances we make in the project. Generally, like when we have the research project, we provide 10% contingency allowance in the the research project. Sometimes we have 25% of contingency allowances if there is more risks there in the. So special provision for possible adverse changes in the physical condition or prices that would add to the baseline cost. So here we have make some special provision for the adverse change which may arise when we implement the project in the field. So for that some provision is going to be made, that is called as a contingency allowances. And this contingency allowances included as a regular part of the project cost estimate. So we should have definitely this component, and there are two types of contingency allowances in the project, like one is the physical contingency, another is the price contingency. And this price contingency is also of two types. One is the relative change in the prices, one is due to the change in the or due to general inflation in the society. So when we talk about the tangible cost or this contingency allowances, physical changes and relative price changes increases the relative cost underlying our expectations, because we have some estimates of the item required for the production activities, or we have estimated that 100 bags of the urea will be required. But when we actually implement the project, there is a requirement of 120 bags of urea. So for this additional 20 bags, we have to make the fund available we have to propose the fund as a contingency allowances. So that is basically on uncertainty, and in similar manners there is a increase in the cost of the fertilizer after 2 years when we implement the project. So for that also actually we have to make the provision as a contingency allowance in the project. So actually when this increase in the cost, the relative cost change which actually reduce our project benefits. So it is reduce our project objective, it reduce our expectations. So sometimes actually we cannot easily forecast with confidence how influence will be there of physical change or of change in the prices, relative prices in the future. So when we talk about the physical contingency, basically the increase in the use of real goods and services is basically real cost. So when we implement the project, there is an increase in the amount required of the real goods and services. So there is a change in the cost, that is basically real cost, and that reduce the final goods and services available for the purpose. So actually when we increase the cost, so we will achieve the less objectives or the final product from the projects. We can say the income will be less if there is an increase in the value of cost of the physical goods and services, and it will reduce the national income as a whole in the society, and hence it is a cost to the society. And then when we talk about the price contingency, basically a greater value is foregone by using the items for our project. Hence there is a large reduction in the national income if the cost of the items or services which are using that increase, so it will reduce our national income. And in economic analysis, basically generally what we do when we do the economic analysis, we do the analysis using the cost and prices. Actually we fix some base years, we can say 2010-11, or some in the normal years we generally consider analysis, and basically the purpose of is to tackle the issue of the general inflation, and this help in the comparison among the alternative projects actually. So, and if you take some base year index in calculating the cost and benefits, it help in giving the correct picture of the different benefits, correct picture of the different project in terms of the cost and benefit, and the provision for inflation effect on the cost that need to be made in the project financing plan, so that there is an adequate budget is available, that is obtained from the sponsoring agency. So actually we need to make the provision of the inflation in the budget itself, so there is no problem while implementing the project. So many times we have heard that when there is a delay in the project implementation, cost of that project increase because there is an inflation effect on the project cost. And tax is another example of the tangible cost. We can easily identify, we can easily measure the taxes and the payment of taxes, basically including the duties and tariff also. Basically it is a customary treated this tariff and the duties or tax, they are customary treated as cost in the financial analysis. Actually they are not part of the economic analysis because they are the simply a transfer payment in the economic analysis, since such payment does not reduce the national income. So that's why they are the transfer payment in the economic analysis, but we have to include these taxes in the financial analysis. The amount that would be deducted for taxes in the financial accounts remains in the economic account as a part of the incremental net benefit. So the part of the new income generated by the project will be the same in case of the economic analysis. And then debt service is another example of the tangible cost. So this is again similar to the tax, and same approach applies to the debt service also. The payment of interest and repayment of capital is also a transfer payment. So this debt services cost, the repayment or interest payment should not part be of the economic analysis. They should be part of the financial analysis only. So in financial analysis, both are actually this interest and the repayment of capital, they are treated as an outflow. So that's why they are included in the cost and benefit analysis. And in case of economic analysis, they are considered transfer payment and are omitted from the economic accounts when we do the economic analysis. Again, debt services, the treatment of interest during the construction, that is give a kind of confusion what we should do during the construction period, whether the interest should be part of the cost items or not. So actually what happened, the lending institution, they treat this interest component, they do the capitalizing this interest as a loan amount. They treat that the interest as a principal amount of the loan. So actually what the lending institution do, they add this value of interest during the construction to the principal of the loan and do not require any interest payment until the project begins to operate and start revenue flowing in from the project. So for that period, during the construction period, till the time the project start not producing the goods and services, the test component they include in the principal itself. So that part become as a principal amount. So the capitalizing interest is similar to the additional loan, and in capitalizing interest differ basically interest cost. So actually what the banks or lending institutions they are doing, they are deferring the payment of interest cost by converting that interest component into the principal amount of loan. So basically it increased the amount of the loan, and this in case of economic analysis it is a direct payment, and it should be omitted from the economic accounts. Then another confusion when we have the debt services as a cost, if the project is financed from the foreign agency such as World Bank or this loan and debt services from the basically from the abroad, in that condition, because in economic analysis we are we have the assumption that all the resources we are getting from the domestic resources, and we are also giving return to the domestic. So that's why that is considered as a transfer payment. But so in case of economic analysis, the debt services is treated as a transfer within the country. The convention of assuming that all the financing will come from the domestic sources and all return from the project will go to the domestic register. So this is the basic assumption that all the resources for the project that come from the domestic resources, all the return will go to the domestic residents. So that's why even if we are taking the loan or credit from the foreign organization, that is also called as a transfer payment. So this debt services should be included in the financial analysis, but it should not be included in the economic analysis. Then sunk cost is another example actually which is we can easily identify, which we can easily value in terms of monetary. Actually sunk cost is basically a cost incurred in past upon which a proposed new investment will be based. So suppose we have already purchased some land, or we have already some land of 10 acres, or we want to develop a new farm for production of crop. So generally what we'll do, how we will be treated this cost of the land. So that is actually we have to take a judicious decision while evaluating the cost and benefit of developing a new project for development of the farms in a 10 hectare of land. So in investment analysis basically what we do, we generally treat it what will be the future returns to the future cost. Actually that part only we consider. Suppose we have already 10 acre of the land or 10 hectare of the land, so for developing the farm we need to purchase some machinery, we need to build, and we need to create some building, or we need to create shed for the animals. So that cost will be included, but so that will be the part of the investment analysis, but the cost already incurred on the land and that cost will be not incurring in the future. So whether this cost of land should be included or not, so this is the decision we have to take. And actually it is desirable to have an economic and financial analysis of a completed project. So actually we should include this cost of the land also, economic analysis or financial analysis, to have a complete or right decision about the project selection. So actually we want to compare the return from the all expenditure over the past life of the project. So we should include the cost of the land also. Then in that condition, this help to in determining the yield of the past projects. So if we include the sunk cost as a part of the benefit or cost analysis, so it will help in determining the yield of the past project also. It help in taking informed judgment about the future project, and it does not help us decide what to do in the present. Basically, and money spent in the past is already gone. Sometimes we have already spent money, so that it's not important, because we want to take the decision in the present. So in the future projects we consider what we are going to spend in a project or how much we want to, how much we will get from that project. So that type of decision we take. And then intangible cost is another important aspect when we consider the cost and benefit from the project. So intangible costs are the costs associated with almost every agriculture project basically. Like example like the increased pollution. If you are giving more we are promoting more use of the fertilizers or pesticides to increase the productivity. So there will be another effect that will increase the pollution also. So we cannot easily measure the pollution in the monetary terms. So we say that is the intangible cost. Another example is the disturbance in the ecological balance, then loss of scenic values of a particular place, maybe due to the development of the irrigation project or any construction activities. So intangible costs are difficult to value, yet they need to be identified and quantified, and they should be considered in the project selection process. And for that purpose, generally we take the subjective valuations and actually how much it will affect the society as a whole. So for that purpose, we generally take this subjective valuation. And now we can sum up this session that the direct and indirect cost benefits, that is the one kind of the cost and benefits. So we can categorize the cost and benefit into direct cost and indirect cost based on their effect on the project entirety and on the effect on the other entities which are not part of the project beneficiary. Then we have the tangible, intangible cost and benefit based on their easiness on the valuation. And the tangible cost we have different like physical goods, the labor, land, contingency allowances, taxes and debt services and sunk cost. And intangible cost we have like increased pollution, disturbance in the ecological balance and loss of scenic values. And actually we have discussed about the which type of costs or should be included in the economic analysis or which type of cost should not be part of the economic analysis. And actually all types of costs, they are generally part of the financial analysis. So there is a special consideration required on the such costs like taxes, the subsidies, debt services, and then the sunk cost. So we need to have a clear understanding about the different cost items which should be included in the project cost benefit assessment. Thank you very much.